Batman in live action has a long history of great adaptations that either respect the source material or just loosely follow it. You go from the old wacky comedic tales from the days of Adam West to the realistic cinematic experiences given to us by Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale. These various adaptations give way for new and fresh stories every time Batman is rebooted in live action. The latest offering of a solo Batman movie comes from 2022's The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves, with the Batman played by Robert Pattinson. This movie made a mark in comic book adaptation history, and I will be breaking down why The Batman is the greatest comic book movie of all time. First off, I want to get into the background and production of this movie and basically how it came to be. So as we all know, Ben Affleck was the current live-action Batman at the time, appearing in 2016's Batman v Superman and 2017's Justice League. During this time, there was a solo movie in the works, said to be completely handled by Ben Affleck, with writer Jeff Johns helping out with the script. From what I researched, this would have seen Affleck's Batman up against Deathstroke, the same Deathstroke we see in the post-credit scene of Justice League. The one played by Joe Manganiello. My fault. I messed up his name, I know. But basically, Flash Thompson from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, I wouldn't want to fight me neither. Love that guy. This movie was coined The Batman. So, where's that movie? In January of 2017, Ben Affleck completely stepped away from the movie, and in February of 2017, it would find its new director with Matt Reeves. It took 2 years to really get this movie going, and with all movies in the works, casting rumors started to bubble left and right. In early May of 2019, it was revealed that Nicholas Hoult and Robert Pattinson were the two frontrunners to portray the Bat himself. And later that month, Robert Pattinson was officially cast as Bruce Wayne, the Batman. This movie had many setbacks with 2 official delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We all know how that went. The movie was finally slated for and would actually release on March 4th of 2022. It was on this day that the boundaries of what a comic book movie could truly be were pushed to new heights. Usually, new reboots of a movie character gives us the whole origin story rehash, but that is not at all what this movie is. Instead, we get a fresh take on this not yet established hero, with Bruce only being on his second year as Batman. We see him make mistakes. He's not perfect. Throughout the movie, many criminals either take a jab at him during the fights, or he gets a shot to the face, to which he just has to recoup, eat it, and continue giving that BTA, belt to ass. Alright, so I'm editing the video. I want to apologize for that phrase. It is what it is. Let the video continue. He's not the tech-savvy, gadgets galore Batman that we see in other iterations, Batman with prep time, basically. We do see him with a few gadgets here and there, but his arsenal is fairly limited. The cape we see in the movie is also just for show. We get a scene where we basically see that Bruce has built a gliding mechanism into his suit. We see him activate this to get away from a certain fight in the movie, and what does he do? He crash lands. It's little things like this that really give off the sense that this is a Bruce that's only in his second year of this vigilante crusade. With a Batman who's only in his second year, it really opens the door to new and old characters that we either haven't seen done at all or haven't seen done right. The main villain in this movie is the Riddler, played by Paul Dano. Usually the Riddler isn't the most exceptional or exciting villain, but this movie gave him a twist. We're watching a psychotic serial killer as he leaves behind riddles and clues for Batman that slowly unveil the larger scope of deception and corruption within Gotham City. I feel Paul Dano does a fantastic job of portraying basically a lunatic that took matters into his own hands purely because he felt he was done wrong by the people in charge and in power. This is an amazing twist to the Riddler character. This choice, I feel, opened the door to a much more serious tone story, which I personally loved. One of the main reasons I was so excited for this film before it came out was that it was clear that this would be taking on the detective side of Batman that we don't really see a lot. While it's not completely left out of other adaptations, it's not brought to the forefront like this movie. Leading up to the release of the movie, it was revealed that various different comics were used as inspiration for the film. The names of the comics would be The Long Halloween, Batman Year One, and in my research, I found out about a deep cut used, known as Batman Ego. Now, if you're familiar with these particular comics, you can see the inspiration did indeed reflect. The Long Halloween basically being a mystery story where Batman is using his detective skills to unravel this larger mystery. And Batman Year One portraying Bruce in his first year as Batman. And as stated earlier, this movie portrays Bruce in his second year. As for cinematic inspiration, Matt Reeves would go on to list David Fincher's Seven and Zodiac, as well as Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver as inspiration for the film. All insane movies. Cinema, if you will. You can really see where the cinematic inspirations come into play. This is a 3-hour long, slow burn mystery thriller movie at its core. That's insane to me. And that, to me, is what sets this movie apart from any other comic book movie. When someone says comic book movie, I myself think of movies like the MCU, where, not to be harsh, but they're playing it safe. It's very cookie cutter and very predictable at the end of the day. And don't get me wrong, I'm a Marvel fanatic. I love the MCU. But I've also come to my senses. None of those movies can achieve what this movie has achieved. The Batman has a fantastic story, amazing cast, phenomenal score, and it's shot so beautifully. Every aspect of this movie has attained a level of quality which I feel no other comic book movie has attained. While I can foresee some people going ahead and saying, what about Logan? Or, since I'm praising the serious tone so much, what about Watchmen? You know, Logan is the only other movie I can think of that's up there with the Batman. You know, it's a comic book movie, but it does more at its core. And Watchmen, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen. I do need to change that. With Logan and Watchmen given their due props, that only leaves one movie, The Batman. This movie is a fantastic time, a great story, and even though it's 3 hours, I can easily sit down and watch another 3. As a Batman fan, there's so many aspects of this movie that I just have to love and respect. From the inclusion of Catwoman and the inclusion of their kind of anti-hero / romantic relationship that we finally see portrayed somewhat. Even to Bruce Wayne himself, who seems to be more than just a vigilante at night. He's taking matter into his own hands and cleaning up the trash around his city, since no one else seems to do it. He talks of his family's legacy and how this is all he has left to carry on the Wayne name. Even though that's an ideal that's always inside the Batman character, I don't think I've ever felt it as much as I feel it here. The way it's said, the way it's brought up, the way it's portrayed, such emotion, such conviction, and such desperation in a way. If he fails at being the Batman, he fails his 2 dead parents and everything they stood for. Throughout the movie, Bruce comes across as vengeance, someone who instills fear in the criminals and someone that they're paranoid about every time they go out and commit a crime. By the end of the film, he comes to terms that he doesn't need to be vengeance, someone that criminals are afraid of. Instead, he needs to be a beacon of light for the civilians of Gotham, someone they can turn to when the city is in need. He needs to be hope. Bruce himself says things will get worse before they get better. He says it as if he believes it, as if he has hope. It's messages and ideals like this which really push forward why this movie is so special. Yeah, a lot of comic book movies can and do bring forth certain messages, but it's not portrayed with such conviction and emotion and overall dramatic intensity. I want to wrap this all up by saying The Batman is a fantastic story. It takes the blueprint of a comic book, but expands everything and meshes together all inspirations to create this one grounded, serious toned universe, which I, for one, am super excited to see continue. I feel like you have to be in a certain mood to want to watch a comic book movie. That's not the case with The Batman. It is such a good overall film that you can sit down and watch it whenever. And me personally, I don't mind the 3 hours at all, as said before. The fact that I can sit down and watch this movie over and over and still want more really says something about the kind of movie it is and what it achieved. It's not the family-friendly, adventurous comic book hero story, but it's a more personal, dark, immersive world to which anyone with a brain should be able to respect. This is why I believe The Batman is the greatest comic book movie of all time. Alright guys, here I am, post-editing, cutting up the audio. I just wanted to sit down and say thank you for watching. If you watched the whole thing, if you skimmed through it, you're here at the end now. And I just want to, show my appreciation and say thank you. If you're watching this, you probably watched the other video, which I explained what's happening to my channel. And I hope you're here to stick along for the ride with me. While recording this, I was thinking to myself, I don't know if I like this, but it is my first kind of video like this. And I know I'll get better. I know I'll get more comfortable. So going on, expect more types of these videos. And if I sound weird, if I don't sound normal, I pray I will sound different down the line. Like I said, this is my first kind of this video. It's a test run kind of, just putting myself out there. Who knows, maybe down the line, I'll be super successful and I'll decide to recreate this video and really get into the meat and bones of why I have this opinion. I know I skimmed a lot. I know I kind of rehashed a lot of points, but bear with me. I just wanted to get this out there. I just wanted to see how this felt. So yeah, there's that. If you agree, if you disagree, feel free to share that in the comments. Also, feel free to recommend stuff, what kind of videos you do want to see from me. If you feel there's a movie I haven't seen, like I said, I haven't seen Watchmen. If you need me to watch Watchmen, damn, tongue twister, then I can watch it, and I can give my review, I can give my thoughts, put that into a whole little video. It's things like this that make me want to sit down and pursue this. If you guys enjoy this, make sure to engage. That way, if I see you guys engaging, I know I'm doing a somewhat decent job and that you guys are enjoying this type of content. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you guys soon? Question mark?